Okay.
Is it red?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Leave the front part for the editors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's good. Okay, here we are this morning. Good morning, Yisrael. Here we are in Samanavshi, located in, just starting now, yeah. Take a Gemara here. We're learning the Gemara Rosh Hashanah, Chaf Dalet Amin Aleph. Very good time. In spite of the rain, I see you're here nice and early. We respect your mysterious nefesh.
I woke up late this morning, but
Oh, Hashem. Here you are.
I'm right now with the house.
Oh, Hashem, okay. Hope you said goodbye to your wife, though, yeah?
No, it's went to the doctor.
Oh, wow, I hope everything's okay.
With the baby.
I have a full shalom. Okay, again, to start, here we are in Samanashi. Good morning. This is the beginning of Shir at 9 o'clock or so in the mornings. We're located in Yerushalayim Yer Kodesh in Rehov Zichron Yaakov, number 6, in the building of Hanukkah Yeshivas. And we're now learning some things which can help us, Bez Hashem, get ready for Hanukkah, which is a week away. So we have here a Mishna, and then we'll learn the Gemara. This is a Gemara again on Rosh Hashanah, Chaf Dalet Amid Aleph. Mishna toward the bottom of the page. Everyone have it there?
Mishras?
Yes. Would you like to read, Ron? So begin for us?
Sure.
Go ahead, please.
Dimut Soros, Levena Hayu, Lo, Rabban Gamliel, okay. Rabban Gamliel, the Tafla, the Bekoso Baaliyah, Shekohen, Shebahen, Mara Es HaHedyotos, Omer Hakazeh, Risi Okazeh. Rabban Gamliel had pictures of various phases of the moon on the wall in his attic, and when people were doing or getting Adis on the new moon, they would go up and say, "This is the way I saw the moon at that time."
They would describe the configuration of the moon, the phase of the moon, the direction also, where the crescent is turning this way, that way, north, south, east, west, whatever it might be, towards the sun, behind the sun. They would point out to Gamliel the Hedyotis that wouldn't be able to maybe perhaps speak in specific terms, so we did direct them to point out what they actually saw. So now the Gemara asks the question right away. Go ahead, we'll learn the Gemara now.
Umishari, is this permissible to do this? To make the pictures? We're not supposed to make the images. Vaksiv says, Lo tase osi lo tasun bedemus Shemashai?
Shimshai, right.
Shimshai. You shouldn't make these pictures of my servants, something to that
Meaning
effect.
the servants, that refers to, like, this, in this case, the celestial bodies.
Celestial bodies, right?
Good.
Okay. Abaya says, Lo Asra Torah Ella Shimshon She'efsher Lasos Kmoson. Is only forbidden to make picture of helpers that can do something.
That's she'efshar lasos kamosa. That's possible to do like them.
Okay.
For example, let's see the price. We'll explain further.
Okay, the Tanya, as the Bryce says, Yasa Adam Beis Tavnis. Hechel, Achsadra, Tavanis, Ulam, Chatzer, Kneged Azara, Shulchan Kneged Shulchan, Menorah Kneged Menorah.
Okay,
so,
good stop. Now, yeah,
that shouldn't make copies of the base, basically copies of the base of Mikdash, or various parts of the base of Mikdash.
Good, right.
Okay. Aval Osa shall.
Neither of the shouldn't make some type of a copy of even of the general building, the Heichel, the Aksadva, of the Chatzer, of the Azara. These are different courtyards of the Beis Hamikdash, right? You shouldn't make that. Neither should you make a copy of the Shulchan, of the table where they had the Shulchan Achanim, where they had the morning.
Morning, man.
So you have an extra view.
I'm going to share with them.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. We have the lechem apanim on the shulchan in the heichal of the Mishna. So you shouldn't make a copy of that. You shouldn't make a copy of the menorah, which corresponds to the menorah that they had in the Beis Hamikdash, and that's why we're spending a little time on this more now, right?
Mishna on the bottom page.
Very last one, very last one.
אבל עושה של חמישה ושל שישה ושל שמונה ושל שבע לא יעשה אפילו של שאר מיני מתכס. Matechas. Okay, you can make a menorah with 5 candles, or 6 candles, or 8 candles. But with 7 candles, you shouldn't make it, even if you make it with a different type of metal.
This is 24, right? Go ahead, thank you, Matt.
The guy sitting across from you.
Okay, so let's get this. So again, we'll just repeat the Mishnah outside in the Gemara a bit till now. Rabbi Gamliel had in his attic where he would cross-examine the Eidim coming to give testimony for the new moon. He would have pictures of the moon there, and well, the Gemara and the Maskana, we're not going to probably get too far into the actual Maskana of the Gemara, but the question is how he had them and how it was permissible to have these pictures or models of the moon. And because we see that there's one of the, if I'm not mistaken, one of the Aseres Dibros shouldn't make any images of any of the, so to speak, servants of the Kadosh Baruch Hu. In particular, said, let's see your bodies, right? So Abai says, Lo asotellishim she'efshel asos kamoson. It's only, the Rabbi wants to give a teretz. So Rabbi's original teretz was that it's only asa. That's what now we can understand what the Gemara's lashon is. It's lo asa. Am Rabbi lo asa Torah ele shemishamshin she'efshel asos kamoson. It's only the Torah only asa to make duplicates of those things, which is applicable and extra. It's possible to make duplicates. You can't make a duplicate of the sun. The sun is millions of miles wide. Same with the moon.
So it's obsolete then.
What do you mean it's obsolete?
If you can't make it,
Right,
and that's what it's supposed to be,
right.
so it's impossible to make another moon.
That's right.
So then, it's a commandment that that nobody can do.
No, so that's the question when the pasuk talks about shimsha. What are my servants, right? So those things that serve Kadosh Baruch Hu. So that can be understood as originally we understood the moon, the stars, the sun, right? But now Abai is saying it's only those things where the Isser is only applicable to those things which can be duplicated. For example, the Beis Hamikdash is something which serves the Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? The Heichel, the courtyards, the Shulchan Lechem Apanim is something which is used to serve the Kadosh Baruch Hu. The menorah is used something to serve the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Those things which we can actually do and replicate, those things is where, according to Abai, that's where the Isser applies. Now, it's beyond what we can do actually for today. If we want, we can go into this a little bit more. It's a whole realm of halach in Yeridea in terms of how this is applied. There's also things which you can't make pictures of things which are avodah zarah. So, I mean, since the moon was and maybe still is at this time used as avodah zarah, you can't make pictures and duplicates of things which are avodah zarahs either. That's not the issue which we're referring to here. That you can't make any duplicates of things which serve the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So Abai's first teretz, based on the Brisa, is only those things which are duplicatable, replications of things which serve a center. For example, the menorah. So we have a menorah of 7 which was used in the Beis Hamikdash. So there's the Brisa points out you can't make a menorah of 7, but of 5 or of 6 or of 8. Right, as our Hanukkah menorah is, and if you have a Shabbos on there, maybe it can be upgraded to 9, right? That you could do, but
7 or 8 is not allowed.
7 is not allowed. That was the type of menorah they had in the Beis Hamikdash.
What about ones today, the big ones?
What about the big ones?
How do they make them?
I have to ask them. I don't know.
Those tall ones?
Yeah, they have. There's one in the old city. I've found people saying maybe there's I have to know if they're doing it according to halakha. They might be leaving out a small part. It may not be an exact replica, whatever it might be. It's not solid gold. But again, this is a silent halakha. We're not going to go into it right now, right? But we see that even, this is the point we want to try and expand upon a little bit now, is even Shah meaning Meteches, meaning we know the menorah in the base of Mikdash and the Mishkan, as the command was given to Moshe Rabbeinu for Klal Yisrael through HaKadosh Baruch Hu to make a solid gold menorah. Solid gold menorah. But so the Brisa says you can't even make a menorah of other types of metal. Why not? Right, so this Gemara is going to be a little bit of an insight into what was occurring at the time of the victory of Hanukkah. Okay? Because why should other metals be forbidden? Take a look at there are a couple of Rashis. Okay, take a look at the Rashis here. The top ones on this Amud, Shelcha Mesha, Neiros, right? You have that of 5 Neiros, that's permissible. Sheish Neiros, also Sheish Neiros, that's also permissible. Then you have a Filo Shashar meaning Matetes. Everyone has the Rashi here. Yeah, Lauren, you like to?
Lefi sheyotze bahen kishera lefnim, because had it been made of another metal, it still would have been kosher for using inside the Beit HaMikdash.
Right.
The Tanya was learned in the Brisa in Menachos. The Asis, Menorahs, Klal, Zahav, Tahar Prat, you have a Klal Prat, Mikdash.
That's Miksha, I think that's Miksha.
Miksha.
Miksha, I mean that's pounded out, it's pounded out, and one glob of gold is pounded out. Yeah.
Miksha Miyasa, Chazar Klal, Ma Prat Mefurish Shel Matches, Afkol Shel Matkis. So this is called Prat Klal, and it comes back to include something like the Prat, and since the Prat is metal, then it includes everything that's made of metal.
Good. So you see, according to the Bryce in Menachos, all kinds of metal are also permitted to make a menorah. Okay. Now let's continue the third line. Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda Aimer. Go ahead.
Okay, Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi son Yehuda says, Ashal Eitz lo yaseh, keder she'asu malchei beis Hashmonai, even if wood you're not allowed to make it as the Hashmonoim made it, the kings of the Hashmonoim made it. Amulo, they said to him, Mishum Raya, Shepodin es habarzel, hayu
Shpudim, that's
Shpudim, Shpudim, the spits of iron, hayu Vihipum Biba'etz Ha'asru.
Okay, let's stop 1 moment. Now, okay, so the Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda wanted to say even of 8, you can't make it. Shasa Derek, Shasa Malchi Hashmonoi, because that was the way the Malchi, the kings of the Hashmonoim, right, that they did. And they in the base medrash Amru, that's a lashon plural, Amrulo, they said in the base medrash, Mushum Raya, is that a Raya, right? Shpurim Shabaz B'hayu, they had that menorah of the Hashmonoim was made of rods of bars of iron, the chupim ba'etz, and they were covered over by eights may not necessarily be wood. Eights is, if you look, there's a Rashi here. Eights is shitainoi balaz. I believe it's some type of a metal which is a compound metal, alloy.
Okay.
It's an alloy, like tin or some type of thing. It's not really eights that we're referring to. It's like an alloy. Because you might think it's just pure because it's in Torah, right? If you remember the third line in Rashi, Zahav Torah. So you might think even metal which is Torah, you can't make, but a metal which is not Torah, it's a combination. It's an alloy of combination of metals. You'd think maybe you could do that.
So what it says here is that the Hashmonaim made a separate menorah, a new menorah.
From here, from this is exactly what we want to start learning from this Gemara.
Okay.
What is our conception? You know, you're going to be saying Al Anisim in a week's time, right? So we say in Al Anisim, right? They came. gave the Zaydim Biad Hos Kisor Secha, L'chasi Hashem Gedoyel, L'kadosh Bolamecha, there's a great Kiddush Hashem in the world, La'amchi Yisrael Asisa Teshua Gedoyel, for you people, Jewish people, you made a tremendous salvation, Furkan, and a redemption from their distresses, Kayom Azeh, as it is this day, Va'aka Kein, Bo Bonecha Lidvir Beisek, and afterwards your sons, your children, the Hashmonoim, came into the base of Migdash, Upino Esa Hekalecha, and they cleared out the courtyard, the Torah Esa HaMikdashcha, and they made pure the Mikdash, V'hidluk Neres B'chatzos Kachak, and they lit Neres in the courtyard, in your holy courtyards. When we're saying Bo Benechet Livir Beisecha, what are we imagining? What was going on? What was the scene like? Yeah? What was the scene like? Try and imagine something in your mind when you're saying these words. Right? If you were there, right, what would you think the scene was like? What do you think, Yusuf?
Basically, when they found the oil and everything.
Well, they found that, right? They did find the oil. True.
Destruction.
That's right. We were learning yesterday in the Medrash that they had to. The first thing they did was build up the Sharim, right? They built up the gates. Because I imagine they built that first to make protection, to isolate, as we were talking about, to isolate and in order they could rededicate the base of Mikdash. Right? Then they fixed up the breaches in the walls that the Yevonim had made. The walls were broken through, so they repaired the walls. And then they got to work on all the other things. Like they had to clear out. Said they had to clear out the dead. They were dead. There was battles. The whole focus of the war was on the base of Mikdash. That was the capital. That was the goal of the Yevonim. We will discuss a bit more of that. That was their whole point to Movavi, as we spoke about before previously, that they wanted to Movavi the Avoda, the Tamid, take away the Ner Tamid, as we were discussing. The Ner Tamid, that Ner Movavi, which is the Eidus Yisrael, that the Kadosh Baruch Hu has in a relationship with Klal Yisrael, was established and shown to be true and lasting through the menorah being lit, especially the Ner Tamid lasting longer than all the other ones. Right? So they specifically targeted the base of Mikdash, targeted the Avodah, targeted the menorah, targeted the Ner Tamid. They were coming to destroy all that, right? So if we see from our Brisa here in the Gemara Rosh Hashanah, when they came there was no menorah, there was no menorah. And even if they didn't have all those goals in mind, but if it was gold, solid gold, what? The first Greek that got his hands on that, well, he'd have to fight 100 Greeks to keep their hands off of it. Right? Solid gold menorah, he couldn't even pick it up and walk it away with it probably. How's he going to get it home? Yeah.
How would it be solid gold?
Excuse me?
How would it be solid
How we could probably find out how much. We know that how much the Torah required that the menorah in the base of the in the Mishkan had to be. We heard probably how much it weighed. We probably figured. I don't have the calculations and the mathematics and the facts to determine it now, but it's probably a known fact how much it would weigh.
That quantity.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's also
Yeah.
all the time.
Didn't Hashem have to make the menorah? Wasn't that something Moshe couldn't make?
Good point.
He gave Bezalel a vision.
Yeah.
Bezalel.
Okay.
He gave Bezalel a vision of what the menorah looked like.
Okay, so he had to have something from Hashem.
Yeah.
So how is it that these guys could do it?
So
They had seen it already. I mean,
yeah.
don't forget, when Bezalel made it, it didn't exist. So he had to, Hashem gave him a vision of what he had to build.
Right.
But these people had a menorah a year earlier.
So they just replicate.
They knew what
in
the
their
menorah
brain. Okay.
they-
Right.
they already served.
When the original command was given to Moshe Rabbeinu, right, so he had to have it in imagination to imagine what the people wanted with the commands he was given, right? And even if he had an exact vision of it, right, then he would have to communicate to Bezalel. And so Bezalel had that vision of what exactly it was like. And therefore he was able to duplicate what he saw in the vision, right? And then once we had it, then it was understood to replicate it. So we see from this Brisa that when they came into the Heichal, when they came into the Beis Hamikdash, there was no menorah waiting there for them to start lighting, right? They couldn't even find the Bach Shemen unless it was buried, obviously, very deep down and away. We worked out yesterday, what was it, about a half a gallon's worth?
Yeah.
If you make a accounting, a reckoning of how much oil was required, Rashi says each of the menorahs, each of the lights of the menorah required a half a loom. Half a loom. So you had 7 menorahs, that means 3.5 loom. Here a loom is about a half a gallon. Right? So that's that. We figure, you often think it's a little small little pot, little flask. It's not exactly a little flask at all. Half a gallon is a nice amount of liquid. Right? So they had to come into the Heichel, they had to clear it out, and they had to reconstruct the menorah. Right? So that's the first step that they had over here. Right? Misham Raya, they asked him, they said, you want to bring a Raya from the Gosh? You know what he did? That's a Raya. And she said, no, shooting Shobarzo Raya was the rods. They were iron rods that they had clad them with like tin or some other alloy type of a metal.
So aside from the oil not having, they also had to make the Roman menorah that day?
Apparently they had to make the menorah that day. Yeah, they had to. It was very busy. They actually, maybe if we have time, we can go into it. There's a bit of a discussion how, because it says that the Hanukkah, even though is Noch Chav Hei, right? That they rested on Chav Hei. So if they rested on Chav Hei, what does that mean? That the battle was won on Chav Hei. So they asked the question: if the battle was won on Chav Hei, how did they have time to do everything, to clear out to make everything tahor, and to clear out the dead, and to find the Bach Shemen, and to make a menorah? How did they have time in the day to do such a thing like that? So they asked. So some portion actually say that the battle actually was finished on the day before, on Chav Dalet, right? And they had complete rest on Chav Hei, and therefore they had the whole day to prepare to light the menorah that evening before Shkia. Yeah. So they originally started off with a makeshift menorah of iron rods, which were overladen by alloy. Now then they break into the Bnei Yeshiva in the base measures continue. Go ahead. It says right there about Ashuroi, they became richer.
Ashuru, then the Jews became richer. They made one out of silver. Hazru Vashu, and they got richer again. Asur Shazav. And they made it out of gold. They made 3 menorahs.
There was one of Barzel, one of silver, and one of gold. Right? So there were 3 menorahs that they had made. And you see here that it took time. It took time. They got richer. They got more ability to do things, right? And I'm sure the first monies they had were to try and rededicate the Beis Hamikdash as it should have been, as it originally was. So you see that they weren't rich people. Right? The Kohanim weren't rich people, and they didn't even to begin with. They had to find iron, right, and overlay it with tin.
According to Midrashim, it was millions of people that they killed. All the metal that they had in the battles, because everybody came with metal stuff. Metal they probably had.
Yeah, well, metal was probably not. The swords were Barzel, I'm sure they could. They probably could. They'd have to spears and swords and it's questionable because usually when they went out to fight, they usually carried some trinkets and stuff with them as well.
Right.
But that may be not enough to really get things going the way they wanted to. Obviously, you see from this.
Right. The first day, you're right, because they had to do everything very fast.
Right. How long it actually took, we don't have a clue from based on the more. There's a Rashi or two. Let's just take a look at there's a Rashi. Av shel eitz, and that's probably not eitz, it's probably utz. It's probably some type of a tin or alloy material.
Yeah.
Let's see the Rashi. It's the 4th line in the Rashi.
Al sha'atz lo yasu, even of this alloy you should make it. Shekiyotze ba kishera, because if you had done it, it would have been kosher. Lifnim, inside. Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yossi Bar Yehuda, Darish Le Likra Ribui Umuti. He darshes, instead of called prat, he darshes Ribui Muat. My Ribu Kol Mili. The Ribui means to include everything. My Miut, what's the Miut?
Chayris.
Cheres.
Clay, meaning clay.
Clay.
I mean, you couldn't make
clay.
you couldn't make a menorah of clay. Meaning other things you could make a menorah, but of clay not.
V'hachi mefarish la
Menachos,
b'menachos.
right.
Explain the menachos.
Right. That's where the primary sugi is over there. It's similar to this. We might want, if we are going to go into a little bit more detail, look at the Gemara Menachos. But for our purposes, in terms of what we need for Hanukkah right now, we basically this Gemara and Rosh is sufficient for us. Next Rashi, Kederek Shasa Malchei Hashmonoi.
Keder she'asu malchei Hashmonai, as the way as the kings of the Hashmonaim made. Kishegavra
Meaning when they
Yadam al
conquered.
Hayavonim, when they had the upper hand on the Yavonim.
Very
They
good.
beat the Yavonim. The Hotzium Yerushalayim, and
He ousted them.
kicked them out of Yerushalayim.
Kicked them out. They ousted them from
With
Yerushalayim.
Haro es Hamikdash, they cleansed, they purified the Beit Hamikdash. Ayu
Neim.
Einiyim, they were poor. Lo Yachlu La'asosim Shelzav, and they could not make it out of gold.
Couldn't make it out of gold. Right. So that also, this Rashi also gives you an insight into what they faced. Right. It was number one, they had to be victorious over the Yavani. Number two, they had to oust them, kick them out of Yerushalayim. Then the third thing, they had to retire, they had to cleanse the Mikdash, right? And in spite of all those things, these were poor people, and they were able to make a menorah out of Zahab. Right?
Plundered the country.
Excuse me?
They plundered the country, the Greeks.
Yeah, I'm sure anything that was worth anything, they that was their like a vacuum cleaner. They just, scooped everything up and sent it back to I don't know, Athens or wherever they were, whoever was in control. That was the whole idea.
This is
So,
the end of the Greek Empire. The beginning of the end of the Greek Empire is right here.
excuse me?
That they never recouped.
What?
No, I was just saying, this is the beginning of the end of the Greek Empire.
Yeah.
The Greek Empire was great until the Hashmonaim. 11 people came, or 13 people came and fought that first battle. From then on, they just never recouped.
That's right.
There's nothing left of it.
Yeah, there actually is a Gemara in Avodah Zarah. Maybe we can learn that. Maybe tomorrow's maybe tomorrow if there's time. Maybe the next week. There's a Gemara in Avodah Zarah exactly how the Romans gained control here in Eretz Yisrael. There was because the Romans had a difficult time ousting and winning over the Greeks. So the Romans, if I'm not mistaken, enlisted the Jews to help them against the Greeks. They became successful over the Greeks, and then the Romans eventually became successful over us.
The Hashmonaim brought them in.
Yeah, could be. Well, that's we'll see. There's actually, if you have, I pointed out a very good English paper on the history of the. You see what?
I was going to grab it.
Yeah, you can go ahead. It's the one lights.
Oh, the
Tin
highlights.
lights.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good, very good. Yeah, the Dhamma, very good. If you have time, you can flip through it and maybe find one or two things that are relevant. So, so that's this. This has just been an opportunity to take a look at what was the Hashmonaim facing when they actually came in. We even though for us it's a tremendous Yom Tov, it's a holiday and we're very happy, but they faced tremendous challenges even at the end of the battles that took place. They had a lot of challenges that they had to face. So okay, maybe we'll switch to Mr. Brewer now. Okay. Good.